how do you see slash make sense of the natural compared to the supernatural?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I mean, many people make a very fine, or a very, I should say, a very firm line between natural and supernatural. So, the standard definition is natural is anything that we can access scientifically. The supernatural is beyond that by definition. But I have a slightly different take on it, which is that I think that the line between natural and supernatural is constantly changing as our science changes. So the way I like to put it is if we were having this discussion, of course it wouldn't be online, but if we were having this discussion in 1880, uh, and I told you that time varies depending on how fast you go. So if you go really, really fast, time really slows down. You would say, well, that's nonsense, and it sounds like supernatural, magical nonsense. But it's true. It might have been supernatural. We would probably think of that and many other things that we've discovered in physics in the last 100 years. We would think of that as supernatural back then. And now, of course, we know that the speed of light being constant and time being variable is a natural, true fact of science. The same would be true for, things like quantum superposition and many other things that have become known in science, but that would have been considered supernatural. You can even take that to the point of going back a little further and using any of our current technology. For example, what I'm doing right now, talking to a bunch of people I don't know, on a screen. That would have been considered supernatural if you tried to describe it to somebody, a few hundred years ago. So it changes. And that's very important to know because things that we now consider to be supernatural, many of them may turn out to be not, or at least on the border. Now, I think there is a supernatural that will not ever become, move into the realm of the natural, and that includes, for example, God, the kingdom of heaven, things which just don't fit in any way I can imagine into a natural world, into something that could be approachable by science. But I would be very cautious about saying exactly where that boundary is because, as I said, it shifts all the time. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, this raises a question that I've thought about this question a lot, and I just don't like the term supernatural. I don't even like the term natural. I think that this distinction between the two is a little bit too fuzzy. It's not all that clear, and then when people define the terms in the way that they mean, there's usually issues that you can pick out with each of those definitions. So I just tend to I don't like that because, as you say, some of the things that we considered natural or supernatural, we no longer consider those natural or supernatural anymore, and
Exactly.
that to me is a really serious problem with this distinction. If we can just sort of arbitrarily pick things and put it in a category, and then another issue with this distinction is that right now the term supernatural is almost used as a pejorative. It's almost used as if it's like a nasty term or nasty word, and it's like people who believe in the supernatural are just silly morons, silly idiots, and I just don't like the term. I don't think it's helpful. I think that it has bad connotations, and it's just I think we should move away from using the term altogether. That's my view, and I'm coming at this more of a philosophical perspective.
Absolutely right. And I'm coming at it from a scientist's viewpoint, which is, that we only study the natural. We don't try to study the supernatural because we have no tools to do so. Uh, But then when we do get a tool that we can use to study what is maybe considered by people to be supernatural, that thing becomes natural because by definition we can study it. So, that's why that border is so fuzzy. And in terms of pejorative, I agree. And I think that's a consequence of the terrible prevalence of scientism that exists, in the world, in the intellectual universe today, that science is the only way to find out is the only valid epistemology. It's the only way to find out any truth, and scientists know that that's not true. I mean, it's clearly not the case. So anything that can't be studied by science is called supernatural, and as you said, has a pejorative meaning because it's not science or amenable to science. And that's a mistake. And I agree. I think it would be great if we dropped that term.
Hello, Cameron here. Thanks for watching this little clip. If you want more, there's actually a whole interview this clip came from. Just click the link on the screen. Oh, and by the way, we post 2 to 3 new videos a week. So if you're interested in apologetics at all, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you can catch our latest content. Oh, and then lastly, remember that Christianity is true.